You are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxshall, in which I chronicle my life and attempts to become a professional writer by, doing some writing daily, hopefully. Hello, you're listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. It is Friday the 17th of May. I'm sorry I took a few days off, but it was absolutely necessary with the frame of mind I was in. In the last podcast I talked about the loss of a very, very close friend who just one of my favourite people in the world. And I couldn't even name her because I didn't want somebody who knew her to find out through this, although there was almost zero chance of that because I think the overlap between my work and this podcast is virtually zero, but I still had to be careful anyway, so I can name her now. Not that any of you will know her, but her name was Penny, and she was just a wonderful, wonderful human being. Anyway, I'm not necessarily going to talk about her too much on this, although what I am going to say is I have a tendency to struggle with depression, and setbacks tend to rip the creativity from me, is probably the best way of putting it, and I'm absolutely determined it could easily happen this time, which I'm a bit nervous about, and I'm absolutely determined that it isn't. I'm going to try not to allow it to, and actually this podcast is part of the thing that hopefully will keep me going, because if I've got to do a 6 or 7 minute podcast every day, like I have been doing apart from a few days I took off, then I have to keep thinking about writing, and if I keep thinking about writing, hopefully I won't lose the impetus that I've managed to pick up in the last sort of month or so, or just under a month since I've been doing this. As I say, I do struggle with my mental health sometimes, and my friend was a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, and I need to find another light. Bless her. She was just wonderful. But I'm not going to keep going on about that. Sorry. But I do need to. I need to find a new light, and I need to find a reason to crack at it. And I suppose one reason is I am enjoying it, and I want to know what happens next. So I've only got 7 chapters left of Empress of the Trees to do the edit work on, and once I've done that, we're in unknown territory. I've got an outline, but I haven't finished writing it, and I am looking forward to seeing what happens to those characters. I still don't know exactly what happens to all of them. I've got a fairly good idea, but things may change as I write it, which is the beauty of writing. There are characters that were definitely not going to survive that now probably are, but I can't have an entirely happy ending when the story is about the end of the world. So there are people that I thought were going to survive that probably aren't going to now, and I need to juggle all that around in my story outline. The other thing I'm going to quickly talk about today before I go away again is what I'm reading at the moment. Now, I am a member of a reading group. Well, no, I'm not really a member of a reading group. There's a really good local bookshop that's opened in my town called Suddenly Books, Suddenly on Sheaf Street, something like that. But it's just a local independent bookshop, and they're great. They're wonderful customer service, really, really good. I can't fault them in anything they do. I mean, I've just been buying. I realised that they released these lovely hardbacks of Terry Pratchett books, the entire Discworld series apart from one, in these lovely hardbacks, and I started buying them during the pandemic and got about the first 5, and then obviously ran out of money and wasn't earning money and kind of never got round to buying the rest. So I've been buying a couple here and there, but they did say there's a couple of these, there's not very many copies left, so they could go out of print. So I thought, right, and decided, sod it, I can afford it, I'm just going to order the lot. So I went in and ordered 31 hardback books. And they've been arriving damaged from the suppliers, bless them. we both thought this would be just an easy thing, bit of money for them, nice books for me, and it's taken up so much of their time, bless them, because books have been arriving damaged, they've been sending them back. And there was one book, which is Eric, the first short novel he wrote in the Discworld series. I think it's the 9th or 10th book. They've got 4 copies of it because every single one that came in has been damaged. So they're being absolutely fantastic. Their customer service is second to none. And every month they have 2 evenings where you can meet up and read, talk about a book. And the book shop chooses the books, but then they offer a discount on them. And there's a regular reading club and a sci-fi reading club. And I've been to the sci-fi reading club once. I wasn't able to go last month because I just didn't have time to read the book. And then the book this month, I'm actually working for the sci-fi club, but I've chosen the regular book club this month, and it is Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kuang, who is actually the same R.F. Kuang who wrote the Poppy War trilogy that I've been talking about and still need to finish. The problem with writing is you don't often get as much time reading as you like. Anyway, so I'm reading or rereading Yellowface, and it's all about a white female author who isn't terribly successful. She's only had 1 book published, only a few thousand copies sold. She certainly hasn't made a huge amount of money from it. She has a friend from college who is exceedingly successful, ludicrously successful. I mean, and they go out drinking the night that her friend has just secured a Netflix deal to produce a TV show of one of her books. And so she's making an absolute mint. And so they go out, they get drunk, they go back to the writer's house and start making pancakes. And her friend chokes on a pancake. Her friend is Asian. I think she's Chinese. The book seems there's a bit early on where it's not really obvious if she's Chinese or Korean, but anyway, I'm presuming because the author is Chinese that the character is Chinese. But yeah, so this Chinese author, very, very popular, just got this big deal from Netflix, chokes to death on a pancake, having just finished her latest book. And she writes in a weird way. Nobody sees what she's writing until she's finished writing it. She hasn't told anybody she's finished writing it. Anyway, her white female friend, after she dies, takes the manuscript and initially just decides as an exercise to finish it, because although it's finished, there are a few bits that aren't finished. There's little bits where it goes, I'll do a bit more research here, do that, and so she decides as an exercise to finish the book. But once she's done it, she then sends it to her editor and says it's her work. Hence the name Yellowface. And it's really, I mean, I've read it before. I really enjoyed it first time round. I don't think it's the best thing she's written, actually, but I did enjoy it, and I'm really enjoying it more the second time round, possibly because I'm looking at, seriously, it's all about agents and the way publishing works, and so I know a little bit more about that than I did first time round, so maybe I'm enjoying it a bit more. So that's what I'm reading. My brain is in a very funny place at the moment. I am still absolutely shocked and devastated by the loss of my friend Penny, and that's going to take a long time for me to get over. I'm not going to keep waffling on about it in here unless something happens that I feel I need to talk about. I will probably draw a line and try not to talk about it in the podcast anymore. But I suppose anybody who does listen, I want them to realise how important she was to me and how much of a hole she's left in my life. But anyway, onwards and upwards. Thank you for listening. I'll be back at some point tomorrow. Oh, I forgot to mention I'm in San Francisco. I didn't mention that, did I? I'm in a hotel in San Francisco at the moment, having just flown here for work. Anyway, take care. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxall. Thank you for tuning in to my random ramblings, and if you'd like to know more about me or my projects, visit my link tree at linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W. Thank you for listening.